Hello, everyone. Happy Women's History Month. Hope everyone's doing well. If you're wondering why my blankets are segregated, this is supposed to go back in my car. Just in case there are any questions. But I hope you all having a great Women's History Month. You're looking up different women. You're following women's art. All kinds of things. It's actually a Black History Month shirt. And it's so cute. It's a little pig. It's from Target. It was $4 because it's on sale because, it's not Black History Month anymore. But it's just so cute. So, without further ado, I've talked about Raven-Symoné all this week leading up to this video, which I'm going to compare Raven's Home, That's So Raven versus Raven's Home in just the first season. And y'all, I just want to start off by saying I had a lot of fun for both shows. So we're going to talk about That's So Raven first. It was a teen sitcom. It ran from January 17th, 2003 to November 10th, 2007. The cast was Raven-Symoné as Raven Baxter, and then Kyle Mozzie as Corey Baxter, who's her little brother. Takia Crystal Kaima, if I said her name right, is Tanya Baxter, who was the mom. And Rondell Sheridan as Victor Baxter, who was the dad. And then Raven's best friends, Eddie Thomas was played by Orlando Bloom. Orlando Brown. They are two different people. And if you may or may not know, he had a lot of issues. He's had a lot of interesting interviews. From what I have seen, I haven't really been catching up with him recently, but it does seem like he has been sober and changing his life, and I think he was rapping the last time, but maybe Christian rap. So I mean, he's been on a roller coaster, but it seems like he's getting better from the last time I heard about him, so that's good. And then Annelies van der Pol as Chelsea Daniels, who is the white best friend of Raven-Symoné. Her character, Raven Baxter. So the synopsis is, no ordinary teenager, Raven Baxter can see glimpses of the future. Watch her schemes and misadventures as she enlists the help of her friends, including her best friends Eddie and Chelsea, which are kind of really her only friends. But anyway, to change life's little outcomes. Raven's younger brother Corey is obsessed with money and creates the get-rich-quick schemes to earn cash. I guess I don't need that last part. But anyway, that's the synopsis, and that's the cast. And I'm going to talk about my favorite episodes and my least favorite episodes. Well, for this series, I have one. For Raven's Home, I actually have two. But for That's So Raven, I have one favorite episode, which is episode 3, Party Animal. It was very funny. It even had a good lesson about, siblings, doing the best they can. I have a typo, to make the other one happy. And it was Corey's birthday party, and he was trying to have this, I forgot what they were trying to do at first. Maybe go to the zoo? It was something animal related, but then they had this Reptile Rick guy come, but then Reptile Rick gets food poisoning, and the parents have food poisoning. It's just so funny, though. Like, all of the animals, like, Ray was trying to do all this stuff, and it's just so funny to me. And of course, both are on Disney Plus. If you have Disney Plus, you can watch it there. I'm sure, I won't say 100%, don't quote me on this, I'm sure someone could have uploaded them to YouTube for free. But don't quote me on that, because I don't know how strict Disney is about their copyright, so I will say that's a maybe. And then my least favorite episode was episode 8, Saving Psychic Raven. So she meets a bunch of other people who have psychic powers or telekinesis or I guess pyrotechnic, because one guy can look at people and catch them on fire. So yeah, it was kind of a weird episode. But the one thing that really made me not like it was one of the telekinetic girls made a black waitress's wig levitate. Shaking my head. So a little bit of microaggression to me. I didn't like that. Raven did say, "Oh, that's messed up," but that was about it for her defending the waitress. And that was also Raven trying to find people who would accept her and stuff. And then her Chelsea and Eddie got into an argument because she ditched them to be with the psychic people, and then Eddie called them freaks. So it was like, it was a whole thing. So my pros and cons, for the most part, for both are the same. So I'm gonna do a little different this time. I'm gonna tell my overall opinion about both first, and then go to the pros and cons. Especially because I like separated them out of the thing. So here we go. I still love this series, and it was so nostalgic for me to rewatch the first season and bring it back, me back to my childhood. And I wasn't expecting to still laugh at some of the episodes, but a lot of them had me dying laughing. I thought it was gonna be above below my humor now, but my humor is also not very sophisticated sometimes. So, but it was still really funny, and rewatching the first season was so much fun. I put a bunch of S's, and I will keep rewatching all the seasons eventually, and I give it a 10 out of 10. Despite some of the episodes I liked more than others, overall it still holds up as a great sitcom. So, yeah, I still love it. Still my jam till this day. To this day! Okay, so let's go to Raven's Home. It's a family sitcom. It was released July 21st, 2017, and it's still going. It's in its 5th season, which when I looked, it's still the 5th season is up, so I'm not sure if they're going to have a 6th season. But of course, Raven-Symoné comes back as Raven Baxter. She is a single mom of twins, Nia and Booker. She works as a fashion designer for dogs. And prior to the series, she got divorced from Devon Carter, an ex-boyfriend from high school. And she lives with Chelsea and her son in Chicago. And she's still psychic, but she basically hides it from the children. I took that out because it doesn't really affect season 1 per se. They do have hints of it, but I'm going to talk about that later in my pros and cons. Okay, then we have so we're going with Raven's son, played by Isaac Ryan Brown as Booker Baxter Carter. Raven's son and Nia's twin brother, who has inherited his mother's psychic abilities. After he gets his first vision at school, he decides to keep his newfound powers a secret, especially from his mother, as he thinks she would not believe him, unaware that his mother is also psychic. He eventually tells Levi, who's Chelsea's son, and Nia, his sister, and then Tess is the neighbor that lives across the hall from them, the apartment across the hall, about the psychic abilities, and make them promise to help keep them a secret. So then we have Navia Robertson, I hope I said her name right, playing Nia Baxter Carter. Whew. That's Raven's daughter, Booker's twin sister. She doesn't believe her brother because he always makes up stories, so that's one thing. But when he has a vision of her getting hit by a boxing bag comes true, she realizes her brother was telling the truth and helps to keep his power a secret along with their friends. And then Jason Malbon as Levi Grayson, that's Chelsea's son. He's very mature for his age and often acts as a parent in the relationship with his mother. Is Levi's best friend and is aware of his psychic abilities. So yeah, he's really cute and funny. Sky Katz as Tess, Nia's streetwise best friend who lives in the same building as the rest of the family. She's an avid basketball player. Due to her previously believing in psychics, Tess quickly believed Booker about being one and vowed to help keep his powers a secret. And then finally, Anneliese van der Pol as Chelsea Grayson. She's Raven's somewhat dim-witted and sweet best friend and the mother of Levi. As a real prior to the series, Chelsea made a substantial sum of money from an infomercial product she invented called the Schmop, which is a lightsaber with a mop head at the end. Okay. This is a fake universe, so hey, I don't know what's popular there. But her fortune was stolen by her husband, Garrett Grayson. After Garrett was arrested for tax evasion, he ended up having an affair with the federal agent who arrested him. Subsequently, Chelsea divorced him upon reclaiming some of her money and then moved in with Raven. Which one episode they do talk about it. She kind of shields Levi from it, but really, she should have been honest with him about everything. So the synopsis is, The series centers on Raven Baxter, a divorced mom of preteen twins Booker and Nia, living with her childhood best friend Chelsea and her son Levi in Chicago, Illinois. And then I have two synopsises. I got two synopsises. So, best friends Raven and Chelsea, both divorced single moms, are now raising their children in an apartment together in Chicago. Their house turned upside down when they realize Raven's son Booker has inherited the same psychic abilities as his mother. I can't talk today. So I have two favorite episodes, so I'm going to talk about them. Episode 4, The Bearer of Dad News. So the twins' dad, he moved to Texas for a new job. He's a weatherman. You know, he does the weather on like news stations, and he gets like a huge promotion, so he moves. And Raven tries to do the same things that he did to very hilarious results. And it's so funny because she like basically does not like anything that he likes, but she tries to like fill the void for the kids. But you know, she realizes, hey, I'm not their dad. I could do things with them that we all will enjoy, and they will all have fun, and they will cherish it because, you know, we're different people, and they could be sad about their dad because it's a sad thing he moved, you know. And then episode 5, you're gonna get it. So Nia wears makeup. She has a party for 8th graders. She's like in 6th grade. She gets caught, of course. Her mom does not want her to wear makeup. She's like, you know, you're too young, which I'm not a parent, so I can't really say anything. But I do see like makeup as like a form of art. So for me, I don't know if I would be super strict about it. But obviously, I don't have no kids yet, so I gotta see. I wish I could see in the future, like Raven, and I could see how I would react. You know what I mean? But I get why she thinks like you're too young. So she learns she's beautiful the way she is. So Raven's like, you know, you don't need all this to be popular, because that's kind of like what happens. Like she's like does her makeup really good, and so one of the older kids, the 8th grader, is like, oh, you look so good, you can help me. So it's like kind of a way, like a social capital. I feel like that's the right word, like a social capital to like make herself more popular. And then, you know, Raven's like, you look beautiful just the way you are. And then Nia's like, well, you have makeup on too, and they take it off, and it's just so cute. So those are my two favorite episodes, and I have one least favorite episode. So episode 6, Adventures in Mommy Sitting. So they like Raven and Chelsea go out on like a club night. And then they keep bumping into this like giant lady, and it was like so weird to me. And like the lady's trying to beat them up and stuff, and like, you know, of course they spill something on the lady, they try to fix it, they tear her shirt. It's like a whole bunch of stuff happens, you know, a bunch of mishaps. And also the club they were in wasn't really clubby enough for me. LOL. It was like a mini club, but I mean, they're like on a sound stage probably, so it's like, how much clubby are they gonna get? You know what I mean? So those are my favorites and my least favorite episode. And overall, I really enjoyed this continuation of Raven's story and how Chelsea was still in her life. I love they're all of one big happy family. It shows that there are many different types of families. I like that they don't shy away from being honest about being divorced and how it affects the children. I will say this first season didn't have many great fashion moments, but the other episodes started to, so hopefully it will get more creative in the next seasons. It's like the last couple of episodes where she's actually doing, well, no. One was like the Halloween episode, and then one where she's actually like at a fashion show for dogs. It was like more fashionable. So I'll give this series an 8 out of 10. I love the new spin they have, and I love that they have familiar characters, and I would definitely continue watching the series. I'm not going to spoil anything, but I know they're going to have, in the fifth season, they have like, did I talk about it at some point? Because now I'm like, hold on. Oh, maybe I didn't talk about it. Okay. Oh, I do talk about it. Okay, so in my pros, let's go to my pros. So both of them are the same for both series. So I'm going to go to the number 3. And I'm going to go back to my number 1. So the cast, I love both of the casts. For both shows, I think they all work together great, and I do know that there's going to be a major lineup change in the 5th season. But I'm hoping that they also make the story fun, and that was like one of the things that I really liked about the first season, and that I feel like I'm gonna like about the seasons until they leave, and I'm not sure about. I don't know about the fifth season, how that's gonna be, but obviously I gotta go through them and watch it. But I feel like that's one of the like great things is like everybody worked together and everybody was like really good together. So I'm a little nervous about watching, you know, the fifth season and seeing like all the changes. Because I feel like it just works so well. It's just so cute. You and your best friend living together, raising your kids together. You know, I just feel like that's a sweet, cute, fun concept. You know, and like with Raven having her visions, she tries to fix them. She always messes them up. Same thing happens to Booker. If he tries to fix it, he messes something up. But you know, they learn a lesson. So it's like the same thing. And I really like that. So I'm gonna go back to my number one pro, which is it's funny and has great comedic timing. Both have very funny moments, and I just said that they have great comedic timing. Of course, not every joke is a winner, but they still have very funny moments for both seasons. So, and then of course they both have life lessons. So it makes you like it makes kids and adults think about things differently for certain things. Like if you treat somebody a certain way, how does that make you feel? How does that make them feel? Like for example, one episode of That's So Raven, she wants to go out with this guy, and he kind of like he asked her out to the dance, like this medieval dance, but he just kind of does it out of pity, and she does the same thing to another person. It's like Ben, and he's like really stinky, so she kind of just says yes out of pity, and then Eddie points out that you did the same thing to Ben that the guy she liked did to her. So you know. And then what else? Oh, and then in Raven's home, Raven is like afraid of clowns, which I feel like is I am also have a clown phobia. I don't know what the actual word for it is. I don't know the actual word, but yeah, but she kind of freaks out because her neighbor's a clown. And you know, instead of like kind of explaining, like, hey, I have a phobia, she just kind of treats her badly. So that Raven has to learn her lesson, and she apologizes for it by dressing up as a clown and like doing some kind of interpretive like show thing. And you know, and then the mom is like it's like a new mom, so like there's a new boy in their building, and the mom's a clown. And then the mom comes to dinner. She invites everybody to dinner, Raven, and the mom's out of the clown makeup, and so Raven apologizes, and they make up. And she doesn't want, you know, her kids' friendship to break up. So that's an example of some of the life lessons. And the last pro is the fashion. I will say that So Raven has a lot more fashion moments, but I'm hoping since the first season of Raven's Home, spoiler alert, ends with Raven following her fashion dreams, it will improve the fashion on that series as well. I will say the club episode, even though it was my least favorite episode, it had one of my favorite outfits, which I talk about in my short that I made about the fashion for both shows. It's really cute. It's like a black sequin shirt with like a silver butterfly in the middle and then silver matching pants. It's so cute. And then my cons for both shows. So some episodes are meh, and I guess it's kind of like, you know, every show is not gonna have a episode that's gonna be like my personal favorite. So it is what it is. Both had episodes that weren't really that great to me personally. Somebody, it could be their favorite episode. That psychic, which even all the other psychics could be their favorite episode, and you know, it's my least favorite, but could be somebody else's favorite. So I think it's just a matter of personal opinion. That's what I'm trying to say. And then for both, you know, their cringe moments. One example from That's So Raven, when Raven's mom was like doing this Rosie Perez accent, and I got secondhand embarrassment like the whole episode. I actually, when she was doing it the first time, I fast forwarded. I actually did like, you know, the 30-second button to go forward, because it was just so embarrassing to me. And I wasn't even there. It was Raven's mom doing this when she was like a substitute teacher for Raven's class. So yeah. And also when Raven became a mom, then she had her own cringe moments. So there's that. So those are similarities. I have two differences, and this is mainly the cons for, well no, these are cons just for Raven's Home. Tess. So I don't hate Tess, even though she's in the cons, lol. But they give her like a black scent and like some mannerisms turned me off. And I feel like the shows want like an urban character, but they're trying not to stereotype black people, so they use white people instead. It's just weird to me. And it's like Levi just acts like a normal kid, like a normal white kid. It's like I don't know how to describe a normal white kid, but he's not a wigger, basically. And I feel like that's kind of like what they were trying to do with Tess, and it was like weird for me. But I guess they wanted to be of like a more Chicago ruffian type kid, lol. But it was weird to me. But she had moments where she was very sweet. She's like a great friend to Nia. Like during the Halloween episode, like she makes her room up, she gives her candy, she like gives her the whole trick or treat experience because Nia has chickenpox, which is contagious, so she can't go out, obviously. And she really helps her out. Like she really makes her have a fun night, even though she can't go out. So that was really sweet. So it's not like I hate Tess, and also it's a child actor. They don't write the script. They don't make their characters. So I can't really fault her. But, I feel like this is another thing with like trying to make things Gen Z as well. And it's just like AAVE, but given to like people who are not black. And I feel like that kind of happens a lot. At least now. And I'm like, why I keep doing this? But anyway. And my second con, just for Ravenholm, is not revealing second powers yet. I was looking forward to the reveal, but it is not until the second season, so I can't really talk about it because I haven't looked at the second season yet. I contemplated just looking at the episodes and then telling y'all about it, but I was like, it doesn't make any sense to do that. But yeah, they dropped hints, but I was like really disappointed by that. Not saying it couldn't have gotten renewed. I feel like I have like, I don't know if PTSD is the right thing to say, but I have like, obviously they have 5 seasons now, so I don't have to worry about like being anxious whether they're gonna get renewed again. Like Kindred, like that was just such, it's just such a rough thing to leave on a cliffhanger. But luckily, I will see that happen in the second season. But yeah, so those are my pros and my cons for both series. I really had a good time watching them again. Well, watching That's a Raven again. I did watch the first episode of Ravensholm like a while ago, but I never like watched another episode. But I'm glad I did. It was really fun. I just love the concept. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't watched it, even though it's like been on since 2017. But I don't know about these lineup changes, but they are bringing back some old people from That's So Raven, so I feel like that's interesting, but we're gonna see how it goes. I'm kind of curious, like, if it will last much longer, but it might. It's been 5 seasons, so okay. So of course I'm trying not to write poetry, like I said. But I want to see, I have a list of concepts I want to see. Or like maybe predictions, I guess. Because they have 5 seasons. So I'm sure they might have interwoven some of these ideas. But I loved that Liz Anya made an appearance. So if you don't remember who Liz Anya was, that was a character that Raven made up with Chelsea and Eddie to like try to get their dad's job back at like this restaurant because the restaurant guy did not like Raven's dad, so he got fired because he like, the dad wanted to do his own thing, wanted to do whatever, he wanted for his business, but, the manager had other plans, or the new owner or whatever, so the new owner fired him. So she was trying to pretend to be like a celebrity so that, he'd get his job back. So she made an appearance in the last episode of the first season. And so I would love it if more people and things from That's Raven made it back into Ravensholm. So these are some people or concepts that I would like to see. So I wrote 6. They had this group called La Di Da that they really loved and that they were doing a concert for in Ravensholm. I would love to see Boys in Motion. That would be such a cute throwback. At least they have a Boys in Motion concert. Devon and Raven go on a date. I know they're divorced, but I kind of want to see. Like I kind of feel like I wish we had seen like their whole relationship. Like we're missing like a whole chunk, which brings me to the next point. Maybe throwbacks of Chelsea and Raven's marriages, so we could see how they got to the point they're at now. You know what I mean? And maybe what happened to Eddie. They just don't mention it at all. Maybe they'll say, "Oh, he went to the military or something." I don't know. Maybe Devon gets married to somebody new, so that they have to deal with like a stepmom situation. And then my last thing I think I want to see, a concept I want to see, is Raven finding a new man. Well, she doesn't have to find a new man, but I'm just curious what she would be like if she was like trying to date. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Raven's That's So Raven first season and Raven's Home first season, and concepts that I want to see throughout the series, the after season 1. But we'll see what happens, because I know a lot of changes happen. But yeah, if you've watched, I feel like we probably watched That's So Raven. But if you have watched Raven's Home, what do you think of it? Do you think it's a good continuation? Do you not think it's a good continuation? Let me know in the comments. Also, this is like so random. I did not realize Lizzie McGuire was shorter than That's So Raven. That's So Raven had more seasons. I didn't realize that. I felt like Lizzie McGuire was like a bigger hit, but I also know that, not saying That's So Raven wasn't a big hit, because it was. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you all next week.